Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fbx Evening News. Today is February 22nd, 2014. I'm Holly Seiler, leading our news tonight. A North Pole man has been arrested on charges that he sexually abused a 14-year-old girl over the course of years. 75-year-old Warren Tanner was arrested on Thursday by Alaska State Troopers. He's charged with 6 counts of felony sexual abuse of a minor and is currently being held without bail. A preliminary hearing in the case is scheduled for early March, unless he's indicted by a grand jury before then. 2 men have been jailed on charges of first-degree robbery and theft. City police identified the suspects as Jordan Valentine and Jovan Askew, both 22 years old. They're accused of robbing a man in the parking lot of Fred Meyer West on Airport Way at about 10 last night. Police and state troopers responded, and troopers located a car fitting the description of the one used in the robbery and arrested the suspects. A 31-year-old man federal prosecutors call a key player in an Alaska drug distribution ring was sentenced to 18 years in prison yesterday. Donnell Johnson, also known as Creep, will also spend 5 years under supervised release, forfeiting vehicles and jewelry purchased with proceeds from the Anchorage and Fairbanks distribution scheme. Johnson was one of 8 people arrested in August 2012 by federal authorities in Alaska, Georgia, and New York. The group allegedly distributed more than 50 kilograms of cocaine in Anchorage and Fairbanks. A former Alaska State Trooper colonel has been named University of Alaska Fairbanks Police Chief. Keith Mallard will replace Sean McGee, who retired last March. Mallard was acting commissioner of the State Department of Public Safety from last October until last month. Mallard has more than 16 years' experience with the troopers, having worked as a member of the Special Emergency Response Team and coordinator and instructor in the Trooper Canine Unit. Mallard also served as commander of the Alaska Bureau of Alcohol and Drug Enforcement. The head of the North Star Volunteer Fire Department is moving on. Jeff Tucker, who has been the chief there since 2005, will leave in March to become the fire chief of Kenai. North Star is the borough's largest fire district, covering just over 100 square miles. Tucker's first job in Alaska was as a fire chief in the Soldotna area, and he said he always hoped to be able to return to that area. North Star Deputy Chief Steve Crouch will serve as acting chief while a search for a permanent replacement is underway. The University of Alaska Board of Regents on Friday officially created the University of Alaska Fairbanks School of Natural Resources and Extension. The new unit merges the UAF School of Natural Resources and Agricultural Sciences and the Cooperative Extension Service. The Regents' action comes after months of planning by UAF, which announced the proposed change in July 2013. The goal of the merger is to strengthen the research, teaching, and outreach missions of both units. Average retail gasoline prices in Alaska have risen about a nickel a gallon in the past week, bringing the state average to $3.66 a gallon. That's according to Gas Buddy's daily survey of 398 gas outlets in Alaska. Prices yesterday were 16 cents a gallon lower than the same day 1 year ago. Prices in Fairbanks were ranging from a high of $3.74 at a local Chevron station to $3.51 at Sam's Club. A GasBuddy.com petroleum analysis says most of the reason for the increase in facility maintenance and getting ready to switch over to summer blends of gasoline.
Prices in Alaska have increased 5 cents. The national average is also tacked on 6 cents. This is the time of year that we start to see gas prices make a run higher because of refineries. So refineries have to slow down production in one part of the plant so that they can do maintenance on it. That maintenance is so those plants will be reliable this summer, or seemingly to replace old parts and upgrade them as needed.
Senator Lisa Murkowski says she wonders whether the Chinese ban on shellfish from Alaska and the Pacific Northwest might be about more than safety. She says that it's important the federal government follow through on the issue, noting that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is sending a delegation to China in the coming weeks to discuss the ban on shellfish harvesting in the United States. Earlier this month, federal officials requested the Chinese ban on shellfish imports from the U.S. be limited to 2 harvest areas, one in southeast Alaska and the other outside of Seattle. China banned the import of oysters, clams, mussels, and scallops from Alaska and the Pacific Northwest back in December. When we come back, several agencies are seeking ways to improve fire service in forested forested areas, and air quality in North Pole this weekend is expected to be unhealthy for sensitive groups. We'll have the stories and much more when the weekend's only local televised newscast returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. After a dramatic fire season in 2013, which included an evacuation on Chino Springs Road, several agencies are seeking ways to improve fire service in forested areas. The State Division of Forestry and the Fairbanks North Star Borough hosted a public meeting to discuss the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. Their project targets zones of concern or heavy areas of black spruce, steep hills, and limited roads. Under the plan, the Division of Forestry will proactively create fire breaks on public lands to reduce fire risks on private property. They will first concentrate around Nordell Road, Goldstream Alaska Subdivision, and Gold Mile Trail.
Community support is vital, for our Community Wildfire Protection Plan. I mean, we need to try to develop projects that the community supports and really address the threats that those individual property owners have. And, they're the ones that are best can tell us what the threats are to them and what their concerns are in their neighborhood. And so we feel it's important to stay in touch with all those folks.
The Fairbanks North Star Borough warns that the air quality in North Pole this weekend is expected to be unhealthy for sensitive groups. That means the elderly and people with respiratory or heart disease should limit prolonged exertion. The borough says particulate pollution will be more concentrated in neighborhoods where a lot of wood or coal burning is occurring, and also in parking lots if cars are idling. The air quality in Fairbanks is projected as moderate for the weekend. We'll have more in the full weather forecast later on in the show. The Alaska State Troopers this weekend received information from the Sunbury, Pennsylvania Police Department after former North Pole resident Miranda Barber claimed she killed at least 22 people. The claims were made in a jailhouse interview with a local newspaper. Barber stated that she killed the alleged victims as part of a satanic cult. The news center spoke to Alaska State Troopers and North Pole Police, both of which state there has been no evidence found at this point to support the claims. Sunbury Police Chief Stephen Mazzio told the news center this week that due to the comments, the department felt it was necessary to forward the information.
At this point, the allegations are sufficient in light of the evidence we have for the homicide that occurred in our jurisdiction, that it is worth at least forwarding the information to the relevant authorities and allowing them to further their investigations, if they have any, to determine the validity of her claims.
Alaska State Troopers also released a statement regarding the investigation, stating they had contact with authorities in Pennsylvania and they would assist them however we can. And it is time once again for another opportunity to learn more about the 20 agencies of the United Way of the Tanana Valley. Tonight, the News Center's Mike Schultz focuses on the Red Cross.
American Red Cross in Fairbanks began in Fairbanks in 1917. The mission of the Red Cross is to provide relief to victims of disasters and help people prevent, prepare, and respond to emergencies. Michelle Daku has been the district director for the past 4 years, and she says the funds she receives from the United Way has an incredible impact for the local Red Cross.
Has a huge impact. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things we do. Being partner agencies, partnering with other agencies, we're able to support the community. So we had the Garrity Fire just recently, and we were able to help 33 people, 17 families. And without the support of the food bank, the rescue mission, the Salvation Army, we wouldn't have been able to provide all the full services that we did.
I asked Michelle what she was most proud of for the Red Cross in the interior.
That we're there when they need us. And that's really true. We're a 24/7 operation. Our volunteers are here to help and support that. So when we have a call out, like the Garrity Fire again, or the winter storms that we had.
During her 4 years, what has been her most fulfilling and rewarding moment?
And one of the things we have is a quilt closet that is donated by the Cabin Fever Quilters Guild. And I had a small little girl come in one day, and she was just in tears. She had lost everything. And I opened the quilt, told her to go shopping, and she pulled out a quilt that had ice cream cones and kittens on it. How appropriate. Her eyes lit up. She was so excited. And for that one moment, she was just like totally into her quilt, forgot everything that was going on, and just loved life. And those are the moments that all of us, their staff, volunteers, really look forward to, because we know we've touched a life, we know we're going to help that family, and we know that everything is going to be okay.
The United Way campaign will be coming to a close soon, but there's still time to donate. And remember, all donations stay within the community. Mike.
The 2014 Iron Dog Snowmobile Race ended right here in downtown Fairbanks this afternoon, and we have highlights from the top teams as they cross the finish line. Also, the Alaska Nanook Rifle team fires away in an NCAA qualifier. That and more with sports after the break.
And welcome back, Alaska. Michael Ives here with your Saturday sports. Well, it's another busy weekend for interior sports, and we'll start right down on the Chena River, where I watched the Iron Dog racers take the checkered flag earlier today. The 2014 Iron Dog Snowmobile Race ended in downtown Fairbanks earlier this afternoon. A crowd of fans gathered to cheer on the racers as they completed the 2,031-mile trek from Big Lake to Nome and finally into Fairbanks. Family and friends waited to greet the winning team, who cruised past the finish line at about noon today. It would be Team 16 coming into sight first along the river as Todd Minnick and Nick Olstad of Wasilla take the 2014 crown. Minnick and Olstad were first into Tanana last night and were able to cruise into Fairbanks well ahead of the competition. Team 16 pushed their Polaris sleds to a total race time of 36 hours, 58 minutes, and 37 seconds. They averaged a race best 55 miles per hour throughout the 2,000-plus mile journey. They'll claim a $50,000 winner's prize and bragging rights until next year's race. Finishing in second place, about 20 minutes behind Minnick and Olstad, was Team 17. Defending champions Mark McKenna and Dusty Van Meter piloted their Ski-Doo sleds along the course and are remaining at the top of the pack throughout the race, but were unable to catch Team 16 down the stretch. Their attempt at an astonishing three-peat would fall just short in this year's race. Third place would go to Mike Morgan and Chris Olds, as Team 10 came in 30 minutes behind McKenna and Van Meter. Olds and Morgan led the first half of the race, but encountered some problems in the second half and fell back into third place. It was a nice finish for Team 10, but it was far from the ending they had hoped for, as their title dreams disappeared in the final days of this race. The 2014 Iron Dog racers say they are happy to be done and tell us about this year's run.
It's a wonderful feeling. I can't say enough about my partner's strength and will to keep pushing on, and the Polaris machines are just top notch. Not having to do any wrenching allowed us to move ahead of the competition that had to. Just fortunate luck, a lot of test time and preparation. It paid off in the end. Yeah, it feels great. You know, since our 09 victory, we've had a couple of failures and a couple bad accidents, and to be able to come back and still be able to compete with this unbelievable competition that's out there, it's a pretty good feeling.
We rode a steady pace. We weren't pushing it too hard, and we thought we were saving the sleds. And then on the way back, we had some mechanical issues, and our drive shafts failed, and so we lost an hour, well, about an hour and a half. So we weren't able to make up that time on the river. This year was supposed to be our win, but a win is definitely in the near future.
And it's Military Appreciation Weekend at the Big Dipper as the Ice Dogs host the Kenai River Brown Bears for a two-game series. Game one of the set would be a late disappointment for the Dogs, however. After dominating the Bears through most of this season, the Ice Dogs and goalie Kevin Aldridge looked to flip the Bears right out of town. But it would be Kenai getting on the board first. The Brown Bears would take an early 2-0 advantage in the second period before the Ice Dogs would even get rolling. Wyatt Egge would finally cut into the Kenai lead as he dumps a puck into the zone, and smartly Egge dumps it on net, and it sneaks right past goalie Zach Quinn. Minutes later, it would be Yannick Vidal who capitalizes on the 2-on-1 feed from Ice Dog Kyle Lee to tie the game up at 2 apiece. This one would end up going into overtime, where Kenai's Vincent Steffen beats Aldridge with a one-timer for the 3-2 win. Game 2 of this series is tonight at the Big Dipper. Now, the Alaska Nanook Rifle team is currently ranked number 2 in the entire nation, and this weekend they host an NCAA qualifier at the E.F. Horton Range on the UAF campus. With the NCAA championships set for mid-March, the Nanooks look to cement their place as a weekend favorite, or as a favorite this weekend against the University of Texas El Paso and the University of Nevada. After winning the Patriot Conference title a couple of weeks ago, The Nanooks will be competing in the 8-team NCAA championship field. 3 other teams have punched their cards: Kentucky, Nebraska, and Jacksonville State, and the remaining 4 spots are still up for grabs. The Nanooks also have 4 of the top 10 shooters in the nation in individual points. Sophomore shooter Tim Sherry is tied with fellow Nanook Ryan Anderson for 2nd in the nation in individual small bore scores. He says that the team is in final preparation for the run at an NCAA title.
Yeah, we've been focused on it all year, just keep building and building, and so we'll be ready to peak for championships, or at least that's the plan. So it's just, building process, and right now is a really good time. We've been tweaking a few things this past week, so just getting those positions nice and solid, which we're trying to work on today, but it didn't quite work out. So we've got a couple weeks to really get those positions solid and get comfortable in them before championships.
Now to move to high school hoops, where we have to mention the dominance of the Monroe Rams boys basketball team this season. Hosting the Galena Hawks last night, the Rams steamroll their way to a 66-24 win, with Scooter Bynum leading all scorers, notching 17 points on the night. The Monroe Rams stay unbeaten at 20-0 on the year, and they've now won 40 straight games dating back to last season. They're also the defending and back-to-back 3A state champions, and they'll look to complete the three-peat with the prep basketball playoffs closing in. While we are on hoops, I gotta mention the Alaska Nanooks are playing a men's and women's basketball doubleheader tonight at the Patty Center. We'll update that action for you tomorrow. That's all the time we have for sports tonight. Remember to be right back here with us for more sports updates on our special Sunday newscast. For more KTVF sports, or if you want to interact with us sports folks, you can log on to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, or download our mobile app. Keep on keeping on, Alaska. Stick around for Holly Seiler and your full weather forecast coming up next.
So lucky you were at the end of the Iron Dog today.
I was, and it was pretty nice out there.
Right?
Sun was shining. My hands and feet got a little cold because I had to wear the thin gloves for the camera.
Okay.
But it was nice, good weather.
What we do for the people of Fairbanks.
That's right, sacrifice.
Sacrifice. We're going to get right into weather. This is our almanac for the 22nd of February. Shows a normal high of 14 degrees and a normal low of 11 below. The record high was set in 1997 at 46 degrees, and the record low of 50 degrees below zero was recorded in 1932. The sun rose this morning at 8:24 a.m. and will set tonight at 5:47 p.m. It's going to give us 9 hours and 23 minutes of daylight, a 6-minute gain since yesterday. And here is weather around our great state today. Barrow is partly cloudy. Fort Yukon is looking up to some clouds as well. Light snow is falling on Nome. It's clear in Fairbanks today with warm temperatures. Healy is clear as well. Juneau is also clear today. It's sunny in Ketchikan. Windy in Bethel, and rain is falling on Cold Bay. Kodiak is feeling wind today with heavy rain. It's mostly cloudy in Homer. Valley is sunny today, and Anchorage is partly cloudy. On to our friends in the lower 48. Seattle is feeling some light rain today with light wind, highs in the low 40s. It's mainly clear in Las Vegas with highs in the low 70s. Denver is cloudy today with highs in the low 50s. Minneapolis is mostly clear with highs in the mid-teens. St. Louis is cloudy with highs in the low 60s. Miami is also cloudy with highs in the mid-80s, and New York is feeling some light rain and light snow, a high in the mid-50s. Back in Alaska, Fort Yukon is looking forward to some mixed snow with clouds tomorrow. Nome is experiencing an active winter weather advisory with light snow and heavy wind, up to 35-mile-per-hour wind actually. Barrow will be cloudy. We're expected to have another beautiful day in Fairbanks tomorrow with sunny skies projected and light wind. Healy and Delta are expected to continue their clear skies into tomorrow. Sunny skies are projected for Juneau tomorrow, while Ketchikan will be clear, highs in the 30s for both areas. Rain and snow showers are expected in both Cold Bay and Kodiak tomorrow. Kodiak will also feel up to 35-mile-per-hour wind. Bethel will be feeling that high wind as well, but with just rain showers. And South Central is looking pretty nice actually. Anchorage will be mostly sunny tomorrow. Clear skies for Valdez, and Homer is expecting partly cloudy skies. And speaking of nice weather, we are having a little bit of it here in the interior. Now I know that's a negative number, but it's significantly warmer overnight low than we've been experiencing as of late, and I will take it. And tomorrow will be a nice little repeat of today, a high almost reaching 20 above with some light wind, and overnight low tomorrow night will sit around 7 below. And this is our extended forecast for the upcoming work week. Clear skies for Monday and Tuesday with highs in the 20s, and then we'll turn to partly cloudy skies and 30-degree days, double-digit overnight lows until I see you here next Saturday, which is the 1st of March. And we've had a pretty okay February.
It's been nice, and now we're seeing almost 40-degree weather
know.
above freezing.
I know.
It's not even March yet. That's crazy.
I know.
It's
This
looking
is going to
good.
wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're really glad you could join us.
Remember, you can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.